Welcome to Milking Data, Unveiling the Power of Data in the Milk Supply Chain. I'm Tyne, and today we will explore the fascinating world of data and its impact on the milk supply chain. Dairy products are a staple in the lives of millions of people worldwide, but have you ever stopped to think about the journey they take from farm to your refrigerator? It's a complex process involving multiple stakeholders, each vital in ensuring that your milk is of the highest quality and safety standards. If I told you that within this intricate web of milk production lies a wealth of untapped information that could revolutionize the industry, data holds the key to unlocking efficiency, improving product quality, guaranteeing the safety of dairy products, and improving your bottom line. Joining me today is Thomas Vera, an expert in digital transformation. Thomas will shed light on the transformative power of data in the milk supply chain.
Thank you, Tyne. It's a pleasure to be here and discuss the exciting possibilities that data brings to the milk supply chain. For instance, it doesn't only help in streamlining operations and increasing efficiency, but as you said, it also plays a crucial role in ensuring product quality and safety. For instance, real-time data monitoring allows for quickly identifying any anomalies in milk transportation conditions, such as temperature fluctuations, or helping maintain the product's quality throughout the supply chain, its traceability, its origin, and so on. When you also have these large data sets over time, with all your quality and logistics information and operational information, you can really get insights into what is really going on, like in terms of long-term tendencies and trends, and then make more profound improvements to processes, and thus helping, as you said before as well, the bottom line. On the farmer side, real-time access to their data, such as delivery and quality, allows them to very quickly react to issues and minimize their losses and disruption. For example, by quickly reacting to a high somatic cells count or things like that, before having to, where they had to wait days or weeks until they got the results back, right? And then it's too late. Again, analyzing their own data over time, how their protein and fats and volume outputs of their operation, evolve over time. They can take long-term and profound decisions themselves as well, that allow them to see if whether the work they've done in terms of managing their inputs, I don't know, fertilizer or animal feed or genetics and so on, what is the impact of that on their operation.
What are some innovative ways data is being used to improve milk transportation efficiency and reduce the supply chain's carbon footprint?
That's a good question. As you know, the transportation aspect of the dairy value chain is a big contributor to the carbon footprint. And data-driven technologies like route optimization algorithms can allow you to be more efficient in your transportation planning and operation, right? So companies can reduce their delivery time, their fuel consumption, for example, by making sure that the collection routes or runs, the milk runs, are optimized. That the farms are collected in the right order, making the path, the overall kilometers or miles driven, as short as possible, and that trucks are filled up as much as possible. That's maximizing, if you want, the liters per kilometer rate or ratio, but also by reducing waiting times, with correct planning, real-time monitoring where the trucks are, real-time alerts to the farmers when the truck is arriving, so they're ready, and also to the factories, right? So that make sure that not all the trucks arrive at the same time, and then there's like a traffic jam of trucks at but making sure that they arrive evenly spread over the day so that the factory can cope with it. And all of these ultimately helps you minimize your carbon footprint on the transportation side.
Do you have an example of how data-driven decision making has significantly improved a dairy company's bottom line?
Sure. And this is, by leveraging predictive analytics. A dairy company could more actually anticipate fluctuations in milk demand, for example, and this could be just could be volume, or could be in terms of solids, and with good visibility on your your supply chain, from the forecasted supply by farmers uh, and you know and as we said, the again forecasted demand, you can optimize your production schedules, types of product variant, I guess, you're going to produce. You can reduce your inventory costs, making sure you don't have to stock up on things that are unnecessary, and overall improve your efficiency and increase your bottom line considerably.
I understand that milk fraud is a big thing in the industry, and I guess how does data and technology play a role in preventing this from happening?
Well, in many ways, actually. First and foremost, digitization means, or digitalization means that there are less manual entries of data, and thus less potential for tampering with it. So across our various implementations across various countries, we have come across many different fraud schemes that were actually discovered the moment that that part of the supply chain was digitized. For example, from tampering with weighbridge data, or collection deltas, right, between the milk collected at farm and then the milk actually received at the factory, or even at the payment calculation levels, payment calculation process, if you want, when Excels and other tools are being used, and and there's a lot of data manipulation being transferred from one tool to another, maybe manually, maybe through spreadsheets. So and then once you have all this digitized data with less manual access to it, let's call it that way, or less unaudited manual access, then data analytics kicks in as well. You can also, with data analytics, you can identify patterns that may indicate, again, fraudulent activities by looking at things that don't make sense overall in the trends of the data. So there's the aspect of digitization. There's the aspect then of analyzing data and trends long term, but also we can integrate technologies such as blockchain, for example. Now, what they do ensure is the immutability and transparency of data, and many of our clients are using this to create, I would say, transparent and trusted traceability information to their clients, and at the same time, a secure and traceable system that discourages these fraudulent practices.
It really is impressive how data is making its way through every stage of the supply chain, from the farm to the processing plant. But what about transparency and traceability? How is data addressing these concerns?
Well, that's a good point, and building up on what I mentioned before, they use a blockchain, but not necessarily, not just. I mean, at least the fact of having uh, uh, this traceability information is key, because transparency and traceability are a vital part for companies to build a consumer trust, right? And by digitizing your supply chain and using this data to track and record, every step of that chain, right, from the farm, from its milk production, to the transport, the truck, the compartment, the silo where that milk was received, and then eventually to its processing into product batches, and then eventually distribution to retail, and finally consumers. They can, the consumers themselves can access, many of our clients have made this available so that they can access this information online, or by scanning a QR code on the product packaging, and they can see then the detailed information from the origin and the journey of the milk that makes up their dairy products. And this gives greater confidence in the industry.
So I guess what you're saying is data is transforming the milk supply chain and strengthening consumer and industry bonds.
Yeah, exactly. With data-driven transparency, consumers can make more informed choices. Is the milk that they're buying local? Is it even extremely local, like from farms around where they live, or maybe from the other side of the country, or from another country? And the industry can build a reputation for accountability, quality, local commerce, if that's what they're going for, and so on, right?
So I guess looking into the future, what are some exciting developments and emerging trends in data utilization that we can expect to see in the milk supply chain?
Well, this whole, I guess, data revolution and digitization is just starting, right? We anticipate an increase, considerably increased use of advanced analytics. And by advanced analytics, I mean things such as, artificial intelligence and machine learning. Now, these buzzwords, just to make it simple, these things are embedded already in many reporting platforms that we offer, and and they're very easy to use, right? So it sounds like you need a scientist to do this, but a lot of this is very easy to implement, and this allows you to considerably optimize your operations and your efficiency, and detect these long term trends, and that we were talking about before. Additionally, we see more and more the integration of IoT devices, or Internet of Things devices, uh, you know, connected sensors and things like that, that allow or provide for real-time monitoring, of say, for example, milk quality and volumes at farm before the trucks arrives. We talked about the blockchain, for example, for enhanced traceability and transparency. So all of these things, from digitization, IoT devices, blockchain, and things like that, will become um, more and more present in the industry, and they will definitely be shaping the future of the milk supply chain. And as you can see from all these things, I mean, the underlying thread, or red line, is data, right? It's all about this data. And another trend, or I guess we can say it, an urgent need that I have seen would be is interconnecting this data across systems. Right now, we cover one part of the supply chain, from the farm to the truck, to the reception at the factory, and then we connect into an operation, into a processing or an operations system. But there are more things to connect. For example, on the farm side, if we want to go further upstream and connect that to animal welfare, and then eventually to the feed that goes into these animals, there are so many, unfortunately, there are so many farm management systems out there, that make connecting the full chain very, very difficult, because there's so much there's so many players in that farm area. Now, I'm expecting, that this is going to consolidate in the coming years, and there's going to be less and more standardized systems there. But at the moment, this is not the case. And and I think we all need to help the industry to connect that chain, right? So that, to make sure that everything from eventually, that original plant growing in a field, which will become the feed, which will then become into the dairy farm, the milk, the truck, the factory, the product, and the consumer, can be all connected end to end, and then everybody will get the most of this data from end to end, including the consumer.
I guess what are the potential economic benefits in the milk supply chain of really harnessing the power of this data?
Well, the economic benefits are huge, right? They range from cost savings, through this operational efficiency that we were talking about, the impact of sustainability, right? And of course, increased revenue through that transparency, that trust, that companies can create with their consumers, and better than and we were talking about these longer term trends on data that allow them to do better informed decision making as a company, and overall then increasing the trust from the consumers. Now, the milk supply chain will definitely achieve a more sustainable and profitable future by correctly leveraging all this data.
Are there any privacy concerns or ethical considerations when collecting and sharing data within the milk supply chain?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, privacy and ethics are key, right? Implementing uh, robust data governance policies, to ensure that the data is collected responsibly where needed, and used and shared in the right way to the right partners for the right reasons. So this is definitely key, and this means you need to strike a balance, right, between the data driven innovation and again efficiencies you can gain, while at the same time protecting individuals' privacy and their data. Is key to build and maintain the trust within the industry. And we have seen many players in in this we have experience, or we've seen many companies playing in this space, our competitors essentially, and some of them share and sell their customer data. Now we have taken the decision that this is not the business we want to be in. We're not going to be selling in any way, either summaries or extracts of our data, because it goes against our ethics and practices, and we have never done it. So absolutely, data privacy is a key point to consider.
What challenges or obstacles exist in adopting data-driven practices in the dairy industry, and how can we overcome these?
Well, one challenge, I mean, we talked about before, is the various in some of the areas of the whole value chain or supply chain of milk. There's many systems. This makes it a challenge, but particularly there are many legacy systems, and some of these are very old, and and they have different or varying data formats. And so this standardization of the data means that many stakeholders need to collaborate, and that is essential, so that we can really connect all the data from the end to end. So everybody needs to come aboard, and in a standardized way, in a collaborative way, while at the same time we'll need to address cybersecurity concerns to ensure that the data is secure and reliable, and that's definitely a top priority.
Could you, I guess, discuss a little bit further the role of data in addressing sustainability and environmental impact within the dairy industry?
Sure. I mean, data is again instrumental, right, in identifying which areas need improvement. As we said, resource utilization, supply chain efficiency overall, and and all of these things contribute to reducing your environmental impact. We talked about the transportation. By monitoring closely quality, you can avoid wastage, right, of milk that needs to be destroyed because it doesn't comply with the quality standards, things like that. By allowing the farmers to react quicker and things like that, and then again, our platforms allows companies to gather farmer information or farm information, let's say, and allows them to analyze energy consumption at the farm, and then obviously they have the information at factory and so on. We talked about transportation and transportation emissions. We talked about waste. So by analyzing, by having all this data, the industry can really make informed decisions to adopt the right practices in the right place that have the most impact, right?
What key performance indicators or metrics should dairy companies be tracking with data and analytics for success?
Well, key key performance indicators should definitely have metrics related to quality, and as I said, the more real time, the better. Obviously, efficiency, and this is logistics efficiency and production efficiency. Obviously, inventory management, right? Making sure that you're reducing your inventory by correctly planning your supply of milk and aligning it to your demand. And then of course key performance indicators around sustainability goals, and keep tracking this, as we said before. Now, easily being able to easily track these KPIs will allow the dairy companies to uh, not only just measure their performance and identify the areas of improvement, but to make those data-driven decisions that will help them succeed, and communicate them clearly to their investors, to their clients, and to society in general.
As we wrap up today, it's very clear that data holds immense power within the supply chain, from optimization to improving milk quality, safety, transparency, and I guess the potential for positive change is massive.
Yeah, absolutely, Tyne. I mean, the transformative power of data is unlocking so many new possibilities, and the data industry really is on the path to a more efficient, sustainable, and consumer focused, and transparent future, if I can say so.
The team here at Madcap know what's required to achieve digitalization goals, and they're trusted by leading dairy companies globally. If you want traceability and transparency, in your milk supply chain, visit Madcap at madcapdairysoftware.com.